This is my NXT No Mercy thoughts video. So you've seen them before, you know how it should be now, so let's just jump straight in with the opener of Javon Evans versus Josh Briggs. A super fun opener, which started off looking like it was going to be a typical big guy versus small guy match, but quickly unfolded into a solid back and forth between the two. It also had a really good story throughout the match of, was Javon answering Sami Zayn's US Open challenge on SmackDown a mistake, because doing that means that he's coming into this match not 100%, and with somebody like Josh Briggs who will take advantage of that, that was a really good little story to tell throughout the match. But like I said, the match itself really good, several great spots, and then it actually made the match more feel like either one could win, especially with the fact that Javon wasn't 100% and Briggs could win, and but that being said, the finish was quite a nice surprise with Javon turning a chokeslam attempt by Briggs into a cutter and then hitting following it up with a top rope springboard cutter for the win. So yeah, Javon Evans wins here in a really solid opener. Afterwards, we got the WWE Women's Speed Championship match of Sol Ruka versus Jada Parker. Having a championship on your brand that was initially designed solely for X, formerly known as Twitter if you want to call it that, where the whole gimmick was 3-minute matches, quick pace to keep somebody's attention on Twitter whilst they're scrolling through. Really, that whole thing should have been scrapped when they got rid of it. That being said, though, it's here on pay-per-view, and for me, just doesn't feel like a pay-per-view worthy title match. Not the match itself that I'll get into, but the actual concept. It fits more for me, I think, personally. It fits more for TV. That being said, though, sadly, Laney Reid, who was originally meant to face Sol Ruka, is injured, so she couldn't compete. That's why we've got Jada in her place. And for the quick switch, these two really pulled out a solid match for the about 5 minutes they had. And a couple of moments where things seemingly didn't go right, obviously because where they've got so little time, they've got to go quickly, and as you go quickly, things can easily happen and that mistakes get made, but they were able to cover for that. The finish of the match itself pretty much came to outside interference, with Jada getting into Zaria's face and trash talking to her, only for Lash Legend to pop up behind her and Zaria to aim to hit Parker with a spear, but ending up hitting Lash with it. That distraction with the three of them allowed just a moment of hesitation for Jada to be distracted, which allowed Sol to win with about 12 seconds remaining on the clock. Like I said, it was a fun little short match, but like I said, I just feel like this is more of a TV sort of championship, not a pay-per-view, PLE, whatever you want to call them. But yeah, as it is, it was alright. Following the Speed Championship match, we got the blood feud of Jordan Grace versus Blake Monroe in a weaponized steel cage match. And like a feud like this, that's been steadily the intensity has been elevated, and it's been getting more and more Brutal, a stipulation like this is definitely deserved, and it's also a way of getting a fun plunder match inside a cage match as well. The match itself is full of weapon spots. The whole match is. It just happens to be in a cage, with obviously chairs, trash cans, all of that, but also having other weapons obviously being connected to Blake's like gorgeous, beautiful sort of persona of a hairdryer, and diamonds, which when they got brought out in a little pouch like the old thumbtack spots, that brought out an EC dub chant from the crowd, which the crowd liked and reacted to them if they were thumbtacks, just happened to be diamonds. But praise must be given to these two women, because for me, they showed that you could do a really good plunder and cage match that is brutal, but without going to the extreme side that obviously ECW and some AEW matches do, with blood, over the top weapon spots and that. And these spots they had with the weapons were good, but they showed that you could still pull off a brutal spot without going to the most extreme option. That being said though, the most extreme spot was when Blake pulled out a pair of scissors, and for a brief moment I did think she was going to stab Jordan in the head or in the arm. But really, for what the spot was, I have to give it praise. She cut Jordan's hair off, and the crowd reacted like it was almost like being stabbed in the face. As well as Jordan's selling of it was great. Like, everyone kind of just played their roles well in this match. The match itself, like I said, carried on to the point where we had all the weapon spots, including the diamonds, to where it was clear as they were wrapping things up to get to the finish, we were going to get a table spot, as there was only one table in the cage and it hadn't been used. And that got set up before they went to the top of the cage, starting a battle between each other, which led to Jordan able to hit an air raid crash on Blake through the table for the win. Great match, my personal favourite match of the night as well. I think this is the best match of the night. And also I get the feeling that this is like the closer for this feud, but I don't think this is the last time we'll see these two go to war. I think these two will be kind of a forever feud in NXT. We're done for now, and we're going to pull them apart for a bit, but they will come back together, most likely over the NXT Women's Championship in the near future. In the cage match, we got the North American Championship match of Ethan Page versus Tavion Heights. So far on this show, we've had a fast-paced opener, a very short women's match, and a plunder match. So this match having a completely different vibe and like sort of style was actually quite nice to keep a variety on this show, which was a very much slower paced match. It obviously started off quite fast with Tavion getting a bit of a hot streak, only for him to get dropped on the still great of the entrance ramp by Page, which obviously injured his back in the match and allowed Ethan to slow down the pace and target that lower back and tell a really good story of the crowd getting invested and behind Tavion, leading to his comeback and potential win. The obviously with the slower down, Ethan's targeting his lower back, inflicting more. This obviously, like I said, got the crowd really behind Tavian and that. But so when he did fight back and get his comeback and did get an ankle lock on Ethan, the crowd were really into it. But sadly, though, it wasn't enough, as Ethan just was able to retain his championship after a power slam off the top rope and the twisted smile for the win. Yet again, all ego surviving and retaining his North American championship. But celebration was cut short, I'm afraid, for Mr. Page, as he was interrupted by Triple A's Dr. Wagner Jr. calling out Ethan and saying he's coming for his North American Championship. Clearly that's for the next Worlds Collide event with AAA and NXT, where we'll get those two facing. That being said, though, the match was a fun, quick. It was a fun match. Following the North American Championship match, we got the NXT Women's Championship match of JC Jane versus Lola Vice. A very good match, which told a very great story throughout the course of the match, of that it's Lola's match to win or lose here. She's in her hometown, got the championship match, but in order to win the championship, she has to pin the champion. On the flip side, we've got JC, who is the champion, who is in enemy territory, with obviously being in Lola's hometown. But she's got championship advantage. All she needs to do to walk out as champion is anything. She can, as long as she doesn't get pinned or submitted, she can walk out as champion. She can get disqualified, she can get counted out, she can pin Lola, doesn't matter. She's got the advantage. And this was the story of the match, with JC kind of almost taking the cheater's way out with interference from Fallon Henry and trying to use her championship belt at points. That being said, though, it was a really fun match, and Lola did take a lot of brutal spots in this match, including getting hit with a running cannonball by JC into the steel steps and a backbreaker in the ring that looked quite gnarly as well. But despite all the punishment that Lola took, she kept fighting back and really pulled off a convincing performance of she might actually win here. But like I said, anytime she tried to win, Fallon Henry interfered or just caused a distraction, including one spot where she pulls out the ref mid-pin, which led to her getting ejected from ringside, to the fans' delight. And like I said, with JT then attempting to hit Lola with the championship itself. Then we got into like the final stretch of the match, where Lola was able to get a bit more fire behind her and land a spinning back fist on JC. But due to the momentum behind the back fist, she fell out the ring, which was a great setup for how it goes in a second. But like, it just shows that she's putting all her effort and like all the strength she has into that move, and it ended up costing her the match in the end, as she fell out the ring. JT's laid out. As Lola gets up, a mystery attacker jumps her behind the ref's back, laying her out. And then Lola's just able to make the 10 count back in the ring, only for JT to beat her with the rolling encore and retain her championship. So yeah, a very good match and a very good night for women's wrestling on this show with 2 solid matches. Main event time, it's the NXT Championship match of Obafemi versus Ricky Saints. A solid main event between a former AEW star and one of the best to come out of NXT in Oba, who again, they delivered a solid back and forth match, which was really good, with the story being Oba is not taking Ricky as seriously as he should, and that's costing him with what's going on, because every time Oba put Ricky down with a big move or anything, Ricky just kept getting back up, showing that undeniable that passion to win, and it got the crowd behind it. The crowd for themselves. Wasn't a bad crowd, but at the start of the match they were pretty dead. But by the end, they were able to really get them hooked and really invested. And Ricky just kept, it was just cutting down the tree, slowly, piece by piece, just chipping away at Oba, just enough. But then Oba would always get back up and just destroy Ricky again and lay him out, but Ricky wouldn't give up. And that obviously led to a really good finish, which saw them battling on the announce table, where Ricky turns a powerbomb attempt by Oba into a DDT onto the announce table, only for Oba to return the favour mere seconds later with a devastating chop on the apron, and then land a powerbomb afterwards for a close 2 count. Luckily, Ricky was able to kick out, and then immediately hit a spinning DDT on Oba, which was just the right amount just to keep Oba down for the 3 count, as Ricky Saints wins and is now your new NXT champion. A very good, solid main event, a great way to end the show. In conclusion, NXT No Mercy 2025, a really good show, with none of the matches on the card disappointing at all, including the 5-minute Speed Championship match, which was a fun, short little match, even though I think it really is better off on TV than on PLE or pay-per-view, however you want to call them now. Like I said, we had I think the weaponized steel cage match was the best match on the night, and it was followed by 2 really solid championship matches, them being JC Jane and versus Lola Vice for the women's NXT championship, and Oba versus Ricky Saints for the NXT championship. Really good show, and another reason why NXT is definitely in the conversation for being one of the best wrestling brands currently, with matches like this, and just another solid little show. So yeah, that's my thoughts on No Mercy 2025. Hope you enjoyed the video, and see you soon.